Rams. Welcome to our first sports show of the semester. I'm Brian Buck.
And I'm Jessica Mendoza. Let's jump into the action.
8 months, 6 new coaches, 12 new starters, and a completely new defensive scheme, and the problem remains the same for CSU football. A deadly offense that only executes when the score is lopsided, and a defense that plays on its heels and allows 40 points a game. CSU fans, experts, and coaching staffs in the Mountain West all had bought into the idea that this Rams team had turned a corner and the problems of the past were going to stay there. This 2018 Rams team might be young and have questions, but offensive consistency, whether good or bad, and a defense that was palatable were the expectations. 37 points in just under 3 quarters by a Hawaii offense that even its own fans were calling, quote, a disaster, and head coach Mike Bobo was left shaking his head and telling media Saturday night that was a dumb, expletive decision. Great play of the game, probably the best of the game. Here, Preston Williams catches the ball, breaks 4 tackles. He would go 41 yards after the catch on this play and set up a touchdown pass that he himself caught just 7 yards out. A minute and 24 seconds later, and Olabisi Johnson catches another bomb pass from KJ Carter-Samuels for this 58-yard score that would put the Rams within 3 scores of Hawaii. Hawaii would keep the gas on, though, keeping the Rams at arm's length. The Rams never quite got back in this one, but the offense showed signs of being extremely efficient. Warren Jackson here catches the ball, and he'll set up the next play to Preston Williams. Preston Williams, who had 9 catches for 188 yards and 2 scores, reels in this one there. That was part of a 4-play sequence that went 99 yards in just a minute and 6 seconds. The Rams made it close late and wowed what was left of the original 31,000 fans behind a record performance from grad transfer QB KJ Carter-Samuels and his 537 passing yards that were thrown to wideouts like Preston Williams, Olabisi Johnson, and Warren Jackson. Williams, a transfer from Tennessee and former 5-star recruit, had few plays that left even the scouts shaking their heads in his first game in the green and gold. The majority of the game prompted CSU fans to exit the newly named Canvas Stadium for the comfort of their own homes before the refurbished cannon named Comatose had launched its 3rd volley. But the final 17.5 minutes, in which CSU scored 27 points and recovered a fumble, gives those same fans hope about the Rocky Mountain Showdown that kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Friday. The final score from Canvas Stadium was 43-34.
The CSU women's volleyball team started off the 2018 season ranked number 25 in the nation. Their first competitor was likely to be one of the toughest teams they will see this year. Number 12 ranked Illinois came into Moby Arena Friday night and made CSU work especially hard for each and every point. Illinois won the first 2 sets, but CSU Rams made a comeback, winning the 3rd and 4th sets, moving the first match of the season into the later hours of the night. Regardless, Moby Arena remained full with fans and students, actually setting a new record of attendance with almost 8,000 fans present for the whiteout game. Unfortunately, Moby madness and energized defense by Amanda Young and Brianna Runnels were not enough to help the Rams take the 5th set. So, CSU started the 2018 season 0-1. Outside hitter for the Fighting Illini, Jacqueline Quaid contributed an impressive 22 kills, while Blake Hronika, a Colorado native, added 11 kills from the middle. The press conference following the tough loss was kept on a very positive and optimistic note by head coach Tom Hilbert. He started off by saying that the team learned a lot about themselves that night. He was proud of how the girls fought so hard and pushed themselves to get out of their comfort zones. CSU served up 8 aces on Friday night. Early that next morning, the women's volleyball team reported back to Moby Arena to play their 2nd game of the season against University of North Carolina, Wilmington. The Saturday morning had a huge change in energy and intensity from the previous night's ranked contest. CSU looked a little tired, likely from playing Illinois. More balls were hitting the floor than expected from this team. But regardless, CSU swept UNC Wilmington 25-18 in all 3 sets. Seahawks middle Anna Moss put up a fight with 9 kills and 3 blocks to add to the team's 29 kills and 12 blocks. The Rams clearly outperformed with 43 kills, 6 aces, and 20 team blocks for the day. And Paulina Hogard-Jensen, Sasha Colombo, and Kirsty Hillier combined for 28 of CSU's kills. CSU's women's volleyball team travels to Greeley to play the UNC Bears this Tuesday at 7 p.m.
They did a great job this past weekend. It was tough for them against Illinois because it was their first match of the season. Illinois had already played a match earlier that day, so Illinois kind of had that taste in their mouth. The football team did the same thing in their first game of the season. In that first half, they looked a little rough. Both of these teams, I think, have a ton of talent, could be really, really good this year, but they showed some rust spots in their first match of the season for the volleyball team and first game for the football team. Yeah, Brian, I really like how you compared the volleyball team to the football team. I think the volleyball team played really good in their game against Illinois. I think they weren't letting any balls hit the floor. They were super energetic. Kirsty Hillier was getting really high up at the net for those blocks, and Brianna Runnels was getting up to hit those balls through the other team's blocks as well. Yeah, no, they both did a great job, and they showed those signs of improvement when they played UNC Wilmington the next day. Like you said earlier, they were a little tired, and it kind of showed, but they had that second game to correct things. And the football team has only played one game so far. I think as time goes on, we're going to see this football team start to figure things out because they're a really talented football team. Yeah. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, Litos Castro is going to have what to look forward in the week for you guys.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. I am Litos Castro, here to give you your rundown of the week in CSU sports. I hope you're ready. It's going to be a fun one. First, we're going to start off with your cross-country team. They have their first event of the season. They're headed to Wyoming for the Wyoming Invite, and that event is going to begin at 6 p.m. on Friday. They're going to be looking to strut their stuff and show everybody what they've got for the season ahead. As we keep moving forward, we're going to look at your volleyball team next. They've got 3 events this week. Their first one tomorrow. They're going to be headed to UNC at 7 p.m. They're going to have their first road game of the season. It's going to be an exciting one. And then on Saturday, they're going to have a 2-game day as they will have a tournament right here at Moby Arena. Their first game is going to be against Cincinnati at 11 a.m. and then their second one will be at 7:30 against Florida State. And then finally, we have the big event of the week for your football team, probably the most, if not one of the best games to look forward to, the Rocky Mountain Showdown, CSU versus CU at Mile High Stadium right here in Denver. They're going to be taking on the CU Buffs at 7:30. Like I said, at Mile High Stadium. It's going to be an exciting one. I don't know how you cannot go to this game. I'm going to be there, and if you do go, feel free to say hi to me. I'll be there. Don't go away, though. We have more sports coming back for you when we come back.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
The CSU women's soccer team hosted their first home game last Thursday against the UNC Bears. CSU's redshirt junior and goalkeeper Hunter Pfeiffer had a good defensive game with 4 saves and only allowing 1 goal by midfielder Maddie Roberts in the 56th minute on a penalty kick. Both teams were looking aggressive, with 12 shots taken by CSU, 5 of which were on goal, and UNC took 11 shots, with 4 on goal. Greeley native and junior Kaylee Lordeman put the Rams on the board after her shot found the upper right corner of the net on a free kick in the 43rd minute. Sophomore duo Allie Murphy-Paletto and Taylor Steinke worked together to get the second goal past UNC goalkeeper Taylor Washington, giving the Rams their first win of the season. Yesterday, the Rams went into their second home game of the season where nearly 1,000 people showed up to watch them take on the University of Iowa Panthers. It wasn't until the 86th minute that either team scored. UNI's Sophia Conant came through at a very impactful time in her young career, when the freshman fired a shot into the back of the net. This was Conant's first college goal and would prove to be the difference in the game. Although the Rams took 10 more shots than the Panthers, none found the net. UNI's goalkeeper Jamie Reichenberger had 6 saves on CSU soccer field. Although they did not come away with the win, the CSU women's soccer team only allowed UNI to take 6 shots, the second fewest shots the Rams have allowed during a single match in program history. The final score from the CSU soccer field was 0-1. After the game, CTV sports reporter Jared Stratton spoke with head coach Bill Hempen about their loss.
Hi, I'm Jared Stratton here at CTV Sports for CSU's second home game of the year. And I'm here with the head coach Bill Hempen, and I know this was a heartbreaking loss for you guys, losing in the final few minutes of the game. Was there anything that attributed to this loss today?
Boy, I'm not sure if there's one thing. I mean, I think we played pretty well. The defense played pretty solid, and look, in this particular kind of game, this crazy game soccer, I think I found out that the only shot they had in the second half was the one that went in, and but that's the way it is. We're dabbling in front of the goal, and we just can't find the back of the net. Now, granted, their keeper was outstanding today. That was a contributing factor as well, which means it takes a little bit more concentration and a little bit more desire to knock one in. But overall, we played pretty good, but didn't come away with the victory.
All right, and for this game was definitely one of the more physical ones of the year, with 2 of the players ended up getting yellow cards in the CSU team. Was there anything specific that attributed to that as well? Was it higher tension because you didn't have a score in the first half?
I don't know. I disagreed, obviously, vehemently with one of those yellow cards. I'm feeling it on the inside right now. But, the intensity and the concentration has to be at a high level. When we recruit these kids, we tell them that every game you play is like playing your most bitter rival, and you do it 20 times in 2 months. And, for some of our younger players, we're 4 games in, and it feels like we've played 15 games just from a physical, what it takes from you physically. So, we just have to get used to that moment and be a little bit more prepared. But again, I can't be too. I'm not angry with our players. They certainly, like I said, they certainly played hard, and now it's just a matter of finding those. And one of the hardest things in this game is finding a way to win.
The Rams are hoping to come back from their loss on Friday when they take on Eastern Washington at home.
The annual Rocky Mountain Showdown between CSU and the University of Colorado is coming up, and that means it's prep week for CSU football. In his weekly press conference earlier today, head coach Mike Bobo focused on the fact that CSU has already played a game, while the Buffs have yet to take the field against an opponent.
Putting ourselves in better position where we got a chance to be successful, our players in better position as coaches, and then moving forward, and not letting Hawaii beat us twice was my message to the team last night. We can't let Hawaii beat us twice. We got to get ready for a talented CU team who, we played a game, and there is improvement from game 1 to game 2, but we don't have any tape on them, and they've got a lot of guys listed at different places defensively than they played last year, so I'm trying to, figure out where they're going to put these backers and identification. So that's a little bit of a challenge. Offensively, what are they going to be offensively? So it's a little bit of a challenge, and they've seen us, they're going to give us some 4-wide looks like Hawaii did. They've seen us how we've lined up to 4 wides and kind of some of our adjustments to 3-by-1 and 2-by-2 defensively. They've seen, us offensively they've seen what Preston Williams looks like and, BC and where we played Warren Jackson. So, things are different from game to game, but the big thing is I kind of went off topic there, but focusing on CU this week.
Coach Bobo is 0-3 all-time against the Buffaloes, and his rivalry record has been criticized by many fans. But when asked about it, he pointed out, "Nobody held a gun to my head and said, 'Hey, go be a coach.' This is something I wanted to do." Bobo is someone who hears the criticism, understands it, but is never bothered by it. With the short week ahead, have already practiced twice, last night and earlier today, and will be ready for the Buffs at Mile High Stadium in Denver on Friday night at 7:30 p.m. We're really looking forward to this Rocky Mountain Showdown. This year is going to be a big one. Bobo mentioned it. There's a lot of things he's got to do to figure out this CU team. They changed a lot from last year. I think we're going to have a really high-scoring game. But one really interesting factor that I see is going to be head coach Mike Bobo's health. He was diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy a couple weeks ago. He was in the hospital for actually 10 days, and he was in the press box for the game on Saturday. He doesn't know whether or not he's going to be able to appear on the sidelines on Friday or if he'll have to be in the box again. He doesn't know if he's going to be able to call plays. That's going to be a big impact. Regardless of which one he does, both teams look like they're not going to have a great defense this year, and both teams return a lot of offensive weapons. I think we're going to have a high-scoring football game.
I agree. I'm really hoping that Bobo's going to be able to be on the field for the showdown. I think the team's really missing out on him being on the field. I also can't wait till we can get Rashad Body back, RJ Jean. I think we're missing a couple really key players. But overall, I'm really excited for this showdown. I think it's going to be awesome. Hoping for some good weather.
Definitely. Good weather is always a plus.
Always.
And again, that game is at 7:30 on Friday. Rocky Mountain Showdown, CSU versus CU. Well, Rams, that's all we have for tonight, but make sure you follow the CTV Sports Twitter page to stay updated on CSU sports throughout the week. Have a great night, Rams.